Hello and welcome to Coffee and Bonsai with Tom. Today we're going to do even more Dwarf Jade bonsai pruning, and this is one of my, I call it OG, my original gangster. It's a cork bark. It's not looking very corky now, but I definitely see some changes in the trunk, so I think that will come along. But this is my oldest one. I've had this. This is my. I've had for the longest period my of my Portulacaria Afra succulent bonsai. And it's just getting a little ragged looking, so I'm going to prune it up. I think we last worked on this around Christmas time. You can probably hear Mabel in the background there. Probably have a delivery or somebody outside. It's funny, I'm just going around pruning the long stuff off of here. And, this is what speed pruning's all about. Don't think about it too much. You're just kind of profile pruning to get you, buy you more time till you can do more detailed pruning. And it, just kind of makes the tree look good. And but anyway, yeah, Mabel. It's funny. I take her to the dog park frequently, and she never barks down there. And people go, "Oh, she's such a quiet dog. Like she never." How nice, Mike. My dog just barks all the time, and I mean, she just rarely barks at all. She'll be, she'll kind of yip at another dog to get it to play with her. She's super playful and social, but at home, oh man, like she really takes her job as kind of an alarm dog very seriously. And so, yeah, you probably hear a lot in my videos. I try to tune it out. I don't do a whole lot of editing on these things because if I had to spend too much time on it, I wouldn't do it. And so I figured you'd rather have less polished videos, but keep them coming. So that's what I'm doing. But I do try to get rid of background noise with filters and stuff. But I don't really know what I'm doing with a lot of that. So, but I think it comes out pretty good. Um, so anyway, yeah, I apologize if you hear a lot of barking in the background, or snoring, or scratching, or chewing. So yeah, I'm just profile printing. It's already looking a lot better. You know, at some point I need to go in here and really do some simplification, and I'm thinking I may actually defoliate this thing once summer hits and we get some good strong warmth, so that I know it'll grow some new nice tight leaves. But yeah, it's taking shape, and on the Mabel thing, it's kind of funny. She's a pug. I don't know if I've mentioned that. I don't even know if I posted. Maybe I'll add a picture to the end here uh, of her. I'll do that. I'll put a picture at the end, and you can see Mabel. But yeah, pugs are just very vocal. She's our second pug, and um, I just love them. I mean, they're such characters, and they've kind of ruined other dogs for me. So, but they are very emotional and very good at communicating with huffs and puffs and snorts and and whatnot. So yeah, I really enjoy having Mabel around, despite how noisy she can be. So one of the goals with this tree, I'm trying to get it sort of flatter, so it's less ball shaped. So I'm kind of taking off a lot of this growth that's either hanging down or straight down or like that, growing into the inside. Just to sort of, I almost want to see the lower kind of limbs on the bottom. And of course, I'll prune the top here as well, just to crank it back a bit. So I get sort of more of a, I mean, for the lack of a better description, kind of a UFO shape at the top. Um, because I really do want to flatten it out. I just think it looks better. I always think about this tree. A lot of trees you want sort of I don't know, you want the foliage to be, half or even two-thirds of the volume of the height of the tree. But I kind of like this one about how it looks, sort of a tall trunk, and then flatten it out. So I think, at least for some time, I'm just going to keep growing it this way. And, I'm kind of worried a bit about the internal structure, but I try to keep things coming up and out. I definitely have a lot of bar branches in here. But I don't know. Somehow I think it works with the tree, and I'm just going to keep doing that. I think I'd like to. I have these wires on. I think I'm going to bring them down a bit. Not much, but I think I have the wires on there. I may as well utilize them. As I look around, especially like this one is. If I pulled that down a bit, I think it would look better. So I'm just going to crank it down a bit. I mean, these are pretty easily adjustable. I've got like, it's just thin wire, and then I do have a rubber piece on the top, so it's less likely to cut into the tree. So I just pulled it down another, I don't know, half inch or something, and yeah, I think that's a lot more balanced. And maybe I'll adjust this one too, because I think this would also look a bit better. Probably should have done this before the pruning, but this is just profile pruning and these things grow, so it'll be fine. I'm going to bring that one down about the same amount. Yeah, I think that is quite an improvement. Well, in for a penny, in for a pound. I may as well bring this one down a bit as well. And this will open up the inside so you get more branches, and I'll just get more kind of growth in the middle of the tree. I don't know if it helps my kind of getting my oblong shape because it's kind of stretching it out, but I think it will because it'll sort of make the tree wider, and then I'll continue to work on the top. Um, yeah, I like that. I think that was a good idea. And that one is pretty much done with the pruning. So next up, I think we'll prune. I call this one my candy stick jade. It's in a beautiful pot. I love how this pink kind of matches the stems. And not much, it's just getting a bit long, so I just want to cut it back and encourage it to grow a little more compactly. And it's mainly the primary tree here that is doing that. And this thing grows pretty slowly, um, but it's finally getting enough branches. It's getting a bit more character, so it looks a bit less like three sticks in a pot. You can check my playlists. I have playlists for every tree, and you can see what it looked like last time and what it looked like a year ago. I'm thinking of shortening it down quite a bit more, but I think we'll let it go for now. But yeah, check out the playlist if you want to see how this tree has evolved over time. So this next tree is one of my cork barks. Doesn't need much. It's in this beautiful little green pot. I think I have to check the playlist. I think this is what I call my root beer barrel jade because it used to be in a kind of a brown cylindrical pot that reminded me of those root beer barrel candies. But so I'm just going to really concentrate on taking the top back and just, again, this speed pruning idea, just sort of, get it back to profile and, help the tree to not waste time growing branches where I don't want them. Um, but yeah, this tree it's really, I moved it into a slightly bigger pot because I wanted to develop it a bit more. And it had a dramatic effect. I mean, the trunk has thickened up quite a bit since I did that, which I think was last, uh, maybe towards the end of fall, may have been midsummer. But the tree's really responded, so it seems like it likes this pot, even though it's quite shallow. And it's going to look pretty flat when I'm done here because the top grows pretty aggressively on these, and I really want it to, branch out to the sides and go a bit wider. And I've got a hole here where hopefully this branch will come in to fill it up. But it looks a little odd now. But I think there is definitely a branch coming on there, and if not, I can, the top branch will kind of go out that way and fill that in eventually. I started this tree from a cutting that I got at a club meeting about 2.5 years ago. Um, so this thing was literally, like these bits I'm cutting off. It was like a 6-inch section of one of those. So um, Yeah, these ports can develop very quickly. And this has only ever lived in a small pot, so if I wanted to grow uh, more aggressively, I could put it in a larger pot, or I have sort of a large flower pot in the back patio where I just stick cuttings and plants I'm not really sure what to do with and just let them go. I'm just kind of thinning some of this out to create a little bit of space on these branches. Not detailed pruning, but I just want to get stuff out of here that I'm not going to use. Um, and I don't know, it's not perfect, but I think this is an improvement over what we started with. The main issue is just this bald spot, which I already mentioned, which I think will fill in. I'm almost tempted to just cut the entire um, top off the tree and just regrow that whole area because I do have a branch coming up there, which I think would really shoot up quite strongly. Um, but I'm not going to do that. I can always do that later. I'm just kind of doing some detailed pruning, get some of these lower leaves off here so you can see some of the trunk. And that's sort of a continual process, actually. Almost every time you look at one of these, you could do a little bit of that. They grow leaves so quickly. So yeah, I'm just getting this growth that's going straight down off of there, and it'll come back, but just to create some sparsity so the light can really get in there. Yeah, I think just getting rid of some of these downward leaves and branches really kind of, I don't know, makes the tree look a lot better. And I think we're getting close to done on this one. You know, just wanted it to look like somebody cares about it, and I think we've accomplished that. Trunk's getting really interesting on this. You can see the corking is starting to cork. It's looking very kind of rough at the moment and getting that sort of thick texture already. But let's clean off. We'll bring in this one I call Tiny Tim. It's not much of a tree, to be quite honest with you. It's sort of, but I keep working at it. This is one of the ones that I'm just going to keep at and see what happens. This tree actually has kind of a long and unsuccessful history here. And I'm thinking, looks like we might have a mealybug situation in here. This is one of the reasons why you want to do, um, I don't know, sort of more frequent rather than less frequent pruning with these ports because they grow so much. And, especially like thick, compact growth like this, it's a perfect hiding place for these little creepy crawlies. So I'm just going to try to cut a lot of this out, but I think I'll get my alcohol spray and give it quite a hit here and just kind of take out the bulk of the population. And you'll sort of keep at that over the next week or so, and then I found that it's quite effective at getting rid of them. But you definitely don't want mealy bugs. They are uh, just a disaster to try to control. I mean, I really by far my least favorite insect. I mean, spider mites. Yeah, I find I can hit those with soap and water and rinse the plant thoroughly in the sink, and they're gone. Um, aphids easy. Uh, yeah, mealybugs are the only thing that just I shudder a bit when I see them because they're so hard to get rid of. But yeah, this plant started life as a cutting off of just hitting it really hard with this off of what I call my river jade. You can check the playlist and see that. But this was like a top branch off of that. And, initially, so I rooted it in water and then I had it as a cascade in a really kind of funky looking pot for, I don't know, maybe a year. And, it never really did much and I wasn't that happy with the look of it. And so, I kind of ignored it, and then eventually, You can see I potted in this pot, did a terrible job. It's like way to the back. Like I don't know, I don't know what I was thinking. Let that be a lesson to you. Really, when you're potting up a tree, look at it from all sides and angles before you kind of finish it off because, now I don't want to disturb it, although I probably should because it just annoys me whenever I look at how badly placed it is in this pot. But anyway, I put it in this pot because I really like the pot. And, it's growing well, so it seems to like it. I don't know. We'll see if when I get it pruned back here. Maybe I'll just tighten it up a bit. It's just not a tree that really gets me too excited. Let's put it that way. But I've been working on it for quite a while, so I'm hoping that I can eventually turn that around and turn it into a tree I really like and learn some kind of lesson from that. So it is really thick, so I'm going to cut back quite a bit because who knows, there could be more mealies hiding in here somewhere. And also, it's just this thing grows so thick it just it needs some space created or it sort of looks like a jumbled bush and not like a tree. So I'm probably going to take off quite a bit. And honestly, these are hard to work on when they get to this point because you just have so many leaves in there. Um, and it probably won't look that great when we're done because I found you got to take a step back before you take a step forward and really thin these out so it allows you to showcase the growth you want. Like, this is growing down into the inside. So you can pretty much cut all that stuff off. And then usually you have too many branches that are too close together. And so you have to choose those just to create some space and light and, have it be able to see the structure of the tree. So you can see this is just so thick. So I'm cutting this back and some of this stuff between branches, you need to clear that out so you can see each individual branch, and it's quite a time consuming process. So while I'm doing that, I think a good thought for the day is, speed pruning or profile pruning, however you want to refer to it, is, it's your friend. It's really, really good, to keep your trees on track, to have them look good. You have somebody over for a barbecue or something, the trees look well kept, and especially, succulents in general, but specifically ports, you can prune them to your heart's content and it doesn't bother them. So it really makes sense to take advantage of that and do frequent pruning to them because they really enjoy it, and I think it just helps you evolve the tree much more quickly. I'm really thinning this out where the mealies had their fortification. So it's looking a bit better already, but still a bit too thick. So I'm going to take some of this off to the inside. But yeah, quickly pruning and profile pruning, if you don't have time to do more detailed pruning, just really helps a lot. Helps the health of the tree, the shaping of the tree, the development of it. It's just all positive in my mind. And so embrace it, try it out. Some people don't like to do that. They like to let it grow wild and then hack it back, especially if you're trying to thicken something up. I tend to keep all my trees in real small pots, so I'm happy to have super slow growth and work with them like that. But to each his own, however you like to do it. But this one is just about done, and it's kind of funny. Like you can sort of see, there's not a whole lot of staggering on this, but before you couldn't even see it. Now at least you can see the three lower branches. Where I have kind of one on the left, kind of one out the back, and then one on the right. And as I was saying before, you couldn't even see any of those branches before. So, you know, getting the tree to the point where you can see all the structure that you want to show off. There's another little fuzzy white. Yeah, this guy's gonna get hit with the treatment for quite a few days in a row here. It's funny I haven't seen these on any other tree, so they seem to like this one. Yeah, see how you can see the branch kind of coming out to the left, and it always makes me nervous. I just like to hit that right away. And I think that's a wrap for this one. And now I will show you a picture of Mabel. So here she is in a scarf a good friend made for her, and taking a nap, and in the great outdoors. And with that, I want to thank you for spending time with me, and I look forward to seeing you all again very, very soon.